This week's spooky season cinema pick is a twist on the haunted house film. We join the intrepid crew of Hell House LLC as they prepare for their yearly haunt, but may have gotten more than they bargained for at the Abaddon Hotel. Here's a warning now to take your Dramamine if you're prone to motion sickness, because we're entering found footage shaky cam territory with 2015's Hell House LLC.
Are we having theme music? Like, how do we... Is it just start with us talking?
Yeah, Dave's gonna do us some, like, a jingle, I think.
Dave.
Nah.
Danielle.
2 lines and a lemon.
Hi everyone, this is Danielle. This week I'm hosting our episode of Spooky Season Cinema for 2 Limes and Lemon podcast, and joined with me today are my 2 co-hosts, Dave and Natalie. Let's go around and ice break what we've been consuming for the week. Just a reminder to anybody joining us for the first time, we're gonna go through what's been consuming us for the week. It could be a movie, film, book, or even food. And so, how about we start with Natalie today?
Ooh, okay. So I have been watching the Netflix series or mini-series Sirens this week.
Oh,
I started and finished because there's only 5 episodes, so it is a short one. Usually mini-series on Netflix are about 8 episodes. But this was quite a nice, palatable one. The premise of it is that an older sister goes to get her younger sister from an almost like cult-like setting that's run by Julianne Moore and Kevin Bacon. The sister is, the younger sister is like, no, I'm fine, everything's fine. But the older sister kind of sticks around because she doesn't trust that what's going on is right. Each of the characters have got their own faults and flaws. Like the older sister is got her own like demons that she's got to work through, as well as
If I remember correctly, she had to kind of stop her life to take care of her father.
Yes. But the younger daughter has sort of run away because when she was younger, the mum tried to kill herself and her in a car. So they're all kind of trying to escape their real lives, but I thought it was going to have like a kind of paranormal element because it's obviously called Sirens. It's set at the sea and there's like kind of like this haunting soundtrack that kind of goes throughout the whole thing. And I was like, at the end of it, I was like, I feel like Julianne Moore could have been a siren, but it never really came to that. It all kind of got twisted on its head. So I won't spoil what happens, but it was definitely worth a watch. And for like 5 hours, it was definitely worth a little gander.
Yeah, I think I watched that when it came out too, and I had a similar, like I didn't quite understand, by the time I got to the end of it, I didn't understand why it was called Sirens, but it fulfilled that. Netflix has made me realize that I have this need for watching like middle-aged rich white women in like sort of mysterious circumstances, and so Netflix puts out something like this, like that Perfect Murder one with Nicole Kidman.
The setting was very similar.
Year. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was good. I think I probably preferred the Nicole Kidman one, but this one was definitely up there.
I did too. Yeah. How about you, Dave? What have you been consuming this week?
I checked out, it's quite funny saying that, checked out the Royal Hotel movie with the wonderful, ever so pleasant, is it Julie Gardner from Weapons?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So it's about 2 Americans like getting out of the USA and doing some backpacking over Australia, and they run out of money. And essentially, this girl called Liv, who's like looking for adventure, they end up going to this pub thing called the Royal Hotel. It's like in the outback in a mining town, and Hugo Weaving is the owner, and he's all like, he's Australian. He's like, yeah, bloody hell, mate, yo, go get over here, mate. He's all like gritty and horrible, and essentially it's about sort of this sort of down under drinking culture where like the 2 girls, Hannah and Liv, have to sort of get out of unnerving situations because they're all a bit, it's just about basically a bunch of drunk men being a bit pervy and going on extreme levels, and it kind of makes it feel very uncomfortable. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be more horror.
I think it might be based on some there's like a documentary that I sometimes see advertised on Amazon that's very similar to that. I think it might be based on that, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Like the 2 girls kind of taking their own personal videos.
It's inspired by that. It's a feature documentary film called Hotel Coolgard.
Okay.
6 years earlier. Yeah, it was a good film. I mean, I thought it was going to be more like, because when we read the bit on Netflix to tell you the blurb, it was just like and they have to fight for survival. But there wasn't any fight for survival. It was very much just them getting really pissed off with drunk men hitting on them and
more
being
like
really
a
obnoxious.
Psychological fight for survival.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. It was a good film.
Good. Did you say it's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. Go check it out. What about you, Danielle?
This week I wanted to talk about a show that I started watching. It's going in real time, which is, kind of a rare event for TV watching nowadays. And it's a show on HBO called Task. It's got Mark Ruffalo as a kind of broken FBI agent, and it's created by the same guy that did Mare of Easttown. So it's in that same part of like Delaware County, Pennsylvania, with that really kind of abrasive accent, and it's a similar sort of setting and characters. Yeah. So we follow the Mark Ruffalo FBI character, and he's got this very complex story. In the first episode, you learn he was a former priest who worked with the FBI and then left the priesthood. And then we're also following this guy who is a garbage man, and him and his friends pay attention and find these houses that are dealing drugs or making drug houses based on their trash, and then they go in and rob them. And then by the end of the first episode, something goes awry, and they end up with a kid that they've taken from this drug house. And so it's only the third episode will be tonight, but I'm enjoying it. It has the same, like I said, it has the same feel as Mare of Easttown, and I've been looking for something.
I did love Mare of Easttown. I think I actually said that was one of what we've been consuming one of the weeks. But yeah, that was a really good show.
Yeah, that's why I recommended it to you. And then you told me you did not like Ruffalo.
I did say that. Sorry, Mark.
But once I get through it, if it's really worthwhile, maybe I'll push you to try.
I probably will. To be fair, it was just that I was in the middle of another series at the time, so I was like, I probably will. Plus, I like to have obviously, you're saying the third episode's going to come out tonight. That's probably a good place for me to start watching it, so it's like a little bit ahead of me.
So, without further ado, let me get into this week's pick. I chose Hell House LLC for one of my spooky season cinema picks. This is a movie, I think I probably saw it 4 or 5 years ago, and it kind of just stuck with me because it's a lower budget film, and it's not like the best, in my opinion, it's not the best horror film ever, but with what they had, I think they created a pretty effective film, and we'll see if the other film that we're talking about for the other episode we're doing today has been a lot more divisive, and so nobody has spoiled their opinions on this one to me yet. So I'm going into this blind if I have to fight my way out of it or not. So the synopsis: we've got this is done sort of pseudo documentary style, found footage, but it's mixed with like fake archival videos as well. And so we open up that there's been this tragedy at a haunted house attraction, and a number of people are dead, number of people are missing. We kind of joined the documentary film crew who are going to look into this more, and they're going to talk to one of the people that's been missing, the Sarah Hovel. And so then that leads us to the actual found footage part of the film, which is the behind the scenes footage that the haunted house crew took while they were setting up this haunted house, and then including what ends up happening, the big tragedy at the end of the night. And so Hell House LLC is this group of like 5 or so people. Alex is the main guy. It's his girlfriend Sarah, his best friend Mac, and then these 2 other guys that have kind of been in it throughout their career. And so there's Paul, who's kind of the goofy one, and Tony, who seems to be the level-headed one.
Me and Dave gave them code names. So, Tony, we put as the tall, good-looking one. Alex was beardy. Yeah. We had Paul as curly hair creep.
Yeah, creepy Paul. That was
creepy Paul. And then obviously Sarah was the only girl, so that one was easy. I don't know if we had anything for Joey.
I can't remember any of them.
No, Joey's the clown. Joey is not the member of it.
Oh, Mac, inside Joey was he? Guy. We had Joey as a character we had written down.
No, Joey is the character. Joey is one of the guys that they hired.
Right, okay.
Joey is the guy who plays the
we must have missed Mac.
In the basement. Yeah. Well, Mac doesn't do much except, he doesn't have like a strong personality besides it kind of becomes clear that he's Alex's best friend, and maybe he is more involved in the money side of this than the others. So just a rough synopsis, it's a very broad synopsis, is they go to this hotel. They're gonna slowly clean it up, put it together as a haunted house. Subtly creepy stuff starts happening that's progressively more menacing, but at a point, Tony kind of, like, something happens that really sets them off. Tony is going to leave, and then there's a mysterious discussion about that we never get to see. It's inferred that there's some sort of financial trouble that Alex has gotten them into. So they go through with the haunt, and things go awry. There's some sort of... The hotel is haunted because the previous owner, Andrew Tully, was involved in some sort of cult or satanic enterprises, and they've sort of brought him back by being in the hotel and bringing life back to the hotel.
You got a lot more than I did out of that. I was like, I'm learning new things about this movie.
To touch on, so this original film came out in 2015, and the director envisioned it all as a trilogy of films. So there's 2 more films. I'm not going to recommend anybody see them unless you adored this film, because it fills in some of the blanks. And as we talk about the plot, I can kind of fill in some of the things that you learn in the second and third films, which are, again, like, much less quality than this one. So if we want to just go around for maybe initial opinions before we delve in deep to it.
Who wants to go first?
Go on then, Nat.
Okay, I'll go first. So, had never seen this movie before. I have heard of it, and I know that people recommended it as being like this terrifying movie. My initial thoughts of watching it was that I wasn't really into it, honestly. Like, I felt like there was... I said to Dave, because we watched this one together, I felt like the group of friends, which they're quite within their rights to do, but I felt like there was too many inside jokes, and we as an outsider obviously didn't get the inside jokes, so it was just kind of watching people converse, but I've got no emotions or feelings about any of the characters. So I'd say for maybe the first quarter of the movie, I was very much like, I don't really know where this is going. I don't really care about anybody. But as the sort of spooky comings and goings sort of crept in, then I did become more interested. But I feel like it had too much at the beginning of the setting up of the characters, but I don't think that they actually managed to nail setting up the characters, is how I felt.
That's fair.
How about you, Dave?
Well, I love a good found footage movie. I'm all about bad camera angles, bad camera work, screaming, not knowing what the bloody hell's going on because the camera operator just flungs the camera around the room, so we have no idea. I swear they must, when they do the auditions for these, they must say, right, actors, have you ever used the camera before? And if they've said yes, they're fired. Any handheld footage film has to be, you're the camera operator? Yeah, okay, we'll just make sure you miss all the important bits and just get glimpses of it so we can kind of be like, oh, what was that? So we look a bit more. But yeah, that kind of got it. I agree with Nat in a sense, but I guess with handheld stuff, I like it because it allows them to be a bit corny and a bit cheesy and a bit over the top. But like Blair Witch and stuff like that, they've really got a good premise to them. And like you got this witch character moving around. But with this one, I think it was, I didn't know who the villain was apart from the clown. I didn't know what was it Ghost? Was it someone in the building that was living in there? They had enough evidence to say we shouldn't be at least sleeping in this place.
100%.
We should maybe get, like, if you've got a financial problem, you have to make it work. Okay, that's fair. But let's not sleep in the creepy place. Let's go find a hotel or something. Or get a tent.
Questionable choices. Yeah.
Because it's not like he kept it to himself, did he? Always like he sees a girl behind him. He sees the clown man, like, stare at him and then leave.
Well, sometimes he doesn't see it, though. We see it.
But, like,
he
the
doesn't
clown
see
man,
it.
for one, was when they saw him, like, there's a scene where he thinks it's his friend dressed as the clown and then goes back, sees him and runs back down to see if the clown's there or something, and he's disappeared. And they all go look at the footage. And they have plenty of ghost encounters that they should probably just not stay in the house, but they carry on through.
I think one of the really effective things that they do with a small budget is, I think that clown is terrifying looking.
100%. He is like the showpiece, I would say, of the whole film.
I think we can agree on that.
And all they need to do is like have the clown looking at a different place, and it's like, oh, that's
exactly.
That's unsettling.
Yeah, we said we liked the clown the most out of all the little characters.
Yeah, the girl that was in his bedroom and things like that didn't really bother me as such, but definitely, and I'm not somebody that's got like a fear of clowns at all, but just something about like his stance, I suppose. It was like very rigid when he was standing and stuff. It just, I think even if it wasn't a clown, he would have still been quite creepy.
Because he's like a big guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, it's a big guy, too. Like, you would think like a doll clown, they're usually kind of wiry and silly looking. And this guy looks like a...
exactly. He'd fold you in half.
He'd fold you in half in one go.
Back to them sleeping in there. There's a moment in the third film, an interactive play that's taking place in the hotel. And they're doing like behind-the-scenes interviews with the cast of this interactive play. And they're like, oh, you didn't know what happened here before? You know, all the members of Hell House LLC slept here overnight and blah, blah, blah. And the actor goes, oh, they slept here?
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess they kind of address that later. The movie isn't just the found footage of these friends setting up the haunted house. There's also there's a YouTube video of somebody that walks through the house on opening night. There's some police footage, some news footage, and apparently the director was inspired by this film called Lake Mungo, which is a 2008 film that does a similar technique. There's a lot of like archival news footage, and then it's mixed with found footage. I haven't watched it in a while, but I found that one to be actually pretty scary. The other place that I remember seeing this is when Blair Witch originally came out. You know, they put the Blair Witch film in the theaters, but then they also were running this fake documentary on the Sci-Fi Channel that was all these interviews and archival footage about the Blair Witch. And so when Blair Witch came out, people were like kind of confused if the movie that was out was a documentary, like real found footage of these people that disappeared. And it was in part because they built up such a strong background about the Blair Witch from this documentary style thing they had on TV. And so I think I feel like that's what the director was trying to go for here is it makes it feel more real by putting this news footage and interviews and stuff. To make it like a sense of realism to it. Like it is that cheap kind of like, look, they've literally just got a budget camera and they're just filming their experience of putting this thing together. And you've got the interviews with the specialists and stuff. But we saw in the trailer as well, that guy with the weird beard.
He's in like the next one or something, isn't he?
He's in the third one. He shows up in the third one again.
Oh, okay.
We like him.
But yeah, he was one of my favorites just because his like the coloring on his facial hair was so weird. It was like pale gray throughout, except right where like a Hitler mustache would be. It's like dark brown. And then the other thing I noticed about him is he had like a prescription, like a bottle of prescription pills over his shoulder
next
in the back.
to his computer. I noticed that. Going back to the different types of footage, I felt personally that the police like body cam footage worked. I didn't particularly like the news footage. I felt like, I don't know, there's something about when they put like, is it the banners or is it ticker tape or whatever they have on news? That to me in movies always looks very cheaply done. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but it never mimics the news. Like, you can always tell it's like fake news. I don't know if they have to do something so that if people turn on in the middle of it, it doesn't look like proper news. But
watching it again tonight, they also pick like reporters that don't read as journalists. Like they always seem like actors playing journalists.
Yeah, it's just something about when they do news segments in movies that just always feels very disjointed to me, and it takes me a little bit out of it.
The guy in The Office, I believed him.
Yeah, no, I did. He was very much like when you get these like spooky documentaries and there's just like a random historian or like expert on the subject. I also didn't like the setup of Sarah in the interrogation room. I felt like that shot to me was just a bit, I don't know, there was something about that. So those are the two bits I didn't really like, the news segments and the Sarah interrogation room shot.
She's like,
I think
there is no Sarah at this hotel.
Well, I think that this brings up a bigger discussion about found footage, where it's hard to have like a perfect found footage because there's the struggle to make a narrative structure and to get all the points in. And I feel like this one too, there's a couple of points that you lose the realism of it being found footage. You know, if you think about it too hard at the year end, you're like, who edited all this together?
Yeah.
There's the final footage when the documentary crew, or the skeleton of the documentary crew, just this Diane woman and her cameraman, go to find Sarah in the hotel and clearly end up missing. Who got that footage?
Yeah.
Like, how did they get that footage back?
That whole scene shouldn't have been in it. Like, I felt like at that point the movie had gone on too long.
Yeah.
Like, I think they didn't need to go to the place to find Sarah. They could have even ended it with, there is no Sarah at this hotel. I didn't need to then see them go to the Abaddon?
Abaddon.
Find Abaddon, thank you, and find her. They could have just ended it as, there's no Sarah here. That would have been, I think, more effective than the scene that we got.
What kind of found footage films do you guys enjoy? Like,
I mean, I think I'm on the page with you. I enjoy them in general. I like kind of
I do.
letting myself forget about
it. Blair Witch.
Yeah.
I think those are good examples of... I mean, Paranormal Activity makes more sense because it's not so much found footage as there's static cameras in a location. Later on, they sort of diversified out to more of a found footage way of doing it. But yeah, I am quite a fan of a found footage. I mean, some of them are very cheaply done and they're not worth your time. But when they are done well, they can be some of the most effective horrors there are.
Yeah. I think that's an issue because, like, found footage is always like you can borderline on like being really good because it's like you say paranormal or Blair Witch or whatever. When people just pick, we'll just do a found footage film, it can be done so bad that you're just like disinterested. There's one called Frogman that I want to check out.
It sounds amazing already.
Yeah, I've been told it's all right, but it is good, but it's a hard one to watch.
Is it a full? Like feature length?
Feature length film called Frogman. I want to check that one out. That looks, it's like there's like a weird wizard frog in the forest. It's got a staff or something. I don't know.
Amazing.
But like, when they're really like, I think we watched a few found footage ones now, haven't we? And they're just been, like, the acting's really bad. It feels really just forced, and
well, I think it's an easy.
Sometimes it can be bad.
It's easy for up-and-coming filmmakers also to do found footage because they don't need
filmmakers.
Yeah. And so, like, in some regards, like a Blair Witch, you end up with somebody with real talent that makes, like, a really compelling film, but you probably get a lot more in the found footage genre of people trying stuff out.
As well, at one point, there was such an influx of found footage that it completely saturated the market. So every horror film you looked at was a found footage and you were like, oh, not another one sort of thing. So I think they've got a little bit of a stigma about them in that you're either going to love them or hate them.
Yeah, that one about the apartment complex where they all have that virus. I think the Spanish version was called Wreck. But there was an American version of it as well. I thought that was pretty effective, too.
Yeah, no, I remember that being good.
Cloverfield, yeah.
Cloverfield. That was the one that made everyone feel sick in the cinema, wasn't it, Cloverfield?
Well, I had a friend who had to, like, run out of Blair Witch and throw up because he got motion sickness. Yeah. I think where this film doesn't work, too, are where you see too much of the thing. Like, there's a scene midway through where they're setting up. We're kind of following Paul. He's doing most of the filming, and in the spirit of found footage, there's a line saying, "Oh, Alex wants all this behind the scenes footage, so I have to be filming all the time."
Yeah.
In addition, he starts filming these confessionals at night where he just like talks about his day, and then you get to see like how grungy he keeps his bedroom. Like his clothes are all over the floor. Like they're all living in this gross abandoned hotel, but his room looks especially disgusting. And you start seeing a figure in the room with him. And when you only see part of it, like there's a part where he kind of turns the camera on and you don't have the full light on, and there's this weird, for some reason there's like a lot of red light bulbs in hallways in this hotel, which that would be the next thing I would change. You're going in what you think is a spooky haunted hotel. Put some like soft light bulbs up, but you get like.
I thought it was just because they were setting it up as a haunted hotel, so they were just using the like aesthetics that they've been.
But nobody was going up to the bedroom area in the haunted house. That was all behind the scenes.
True.
But anyways, we get like half of a figure, and he thinks it's Sarah sleepwalking, but you're not sure if it's her or this character that we see later. And when you see the full form of her in like bright white light, it just felt like a little scary to me. Like the fact that she's like, with like funky contacts on. I think the scary part of that scene is when he pulls the covers up over himself, and he's like frantically breathing under the covers, and then he like peeks out and you see the figures moved closer and closer. But I think the shot where you actually see her kind of takes away from that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
But one of the things that I found really effective was Paul goes in and he plays this little tune on the piano, which is, again, not a fun tune. He's not playing chopsticks or anything. He plays this creepy little tune. And then throughout the film, the music comes back up. And so, a little bit of trivia. Apparently, that song is based on the original Meow Mix theme song, or jingle. And so the original Meow Mix jingle is, I want chicken, I want liver, meow mix, please deliver. And so the one for...
Isn't that in Austin Powers?
Oh, is it?
I was going to say, I know this, but I don't know Meow Mix, so I definitely know it from somewhere.
But in the film then it's I want chicken, I want liver, meow mix, please deliver. And after I read that trivia while watching the film, I couldn't watch them playing the piano without that going through my head.
I think also because you know where the piano is at any point when you hear that, you know they're gonna have to be like walking throughout the whole house probably to get back to that room, and they do it like a few times later on when it's all sort of kicking off. So it's like, you know, as an audience member, like they've heard that noise, we sort of know the layout of the hotel at this point, so there's a lot of different rooms they're gonna have to go through and navigate maybe the clown or whatever to get to that point.
Well, and they set up too, it's very like well suited. The hotel is very well suited for a haunted house attraction because it is kind of windy and it's confusing. And so there's several times where either this clown is found in the wrong place and they're putting it back, or like something weird happens and somebody's running away, and there's this sense of like getting lost or getting like going down an area where there isn't a door. Yeah.
I don't know. It needed something extra to make me fully engaged and interested. There's I'll give it the fact that the clown man was the best bit, but I think there was only like 2 times where I felt like, ooh, but that may be because I was watching it with Nat, because we like to hammer it up a little bit when we watch stuff like this, because we were like, oh, it's coming after you. And then, but if I watched it on my own, I would have been like, ugh.
There's a few scenes I can think of, and they all involve the clown. There's the one where he's at the bottom of the stairs. There's the one where he walks up and the clown's looking down into the basement. And then there's one where the 3 clowns are sitting in a row and they are looking for Paul at that point, I think, and looking in like is it like a boiler or something? They open up like a metal hatch, and then the clowns' heads all kind of turn to face them. Those are like the 3 bits that I remember us.
I don't think it was worth enough to have those moments in. I was like, if they had, I don't know, just characters were a bit lame. The clown bit, what you just mentioned, that worked. That was it. But the rest of it, like the people in the hoods and all that, the cult kind of people, all got a bit like they went to the joke shop and got all these like
we did say that we didn't. At the end when it's Sarah's death, isn't it?
Did you watch the theatrical cut or did you watch the director's cut?
I have no idea. It was whatever one was on Shudder.
Okay. Well, they have both on Shudder.
We just looked at whatever the first one that came up. So I'd imagine it's probably theatrical.
So they went back, like after he had some more money. They went back, and the director's cut has about 10 more minutes, and it shows a little bit more in the basement, which I don't know if that would change your opinion at all. Basically, you see the character Melissa. They've hired on a couple of people. We mentioned this Joey character before, who is going to watch the girl who is going to be like the sacrifice, like the satanic cult sacrifice in the basement. That's their big feature of the.
He does a runner
of the haunted house. Yeah, he runs out.
Can we pause there with the girl that's going to be a sacrifice? Why is she actually handcuffed in the basement? She could have easily have just held her hands up and made it look like she was a sacrifice. There was no need to use real handcuffs. And also, they put her arms up so, like, early compared to when the paying pundits are going to... guests are going to come. Her arms are going to be dead. Yeah.
Yeah, you would
get the
you're right.
Dress, like when it's do that like 5 minutes before we're about to go on. Like, what are you doing?
The dress cutting I thought was ridiculous. It's while she's hung up. I think it's Matt comes down with like a big pair of scissors and cuts down the
it's proper weird. Front of this.
Yeah, but so they show a little bit more of these hooded figures coming out of this portal in the basement and killing her. So I think they show a little bit more of that. I don't know if that really adds or not. I'm guessing based on your reviews of it doesn't.
I had a theory about this may not be a theory of what they actually were intending, but my theory was they always say that fear kind of feeds these situations. And although they had seen like a few little spooky goings on before the haunted house opened, obviously, once it opened, you had all these people coming in that were scared of the haunted house. And the way I kind of saw it is it all came to like a crescendo because their fear of going through the haunted house had given it enough like power to then kick off in this big like climax of the movie. That's how I kind of saw it. And I don't know if that was what they intended, but that's how I'm rationalizing it. There's a scene where Sarah is kind of possessed and looking at the wall, and they come and find her, and she says something, and it clearly sounds like reversed speech.
Yeah.
And they never developed that any further, but I feel like there could have been a scene where they played it, obviously, in reverse, and it would have made a sentence, and that, I thought, was a missed opportunity.
And it would have made sense with the idea that somebody had taken this footage at the end, because there are a lot of scenes where you kind of just catch a glimpse of something, and then whoever is editing the film rewinds it back so that you can really see the freeze frame. So that makes sense. I looked it up, and somebody must have rewound it, and it's like her talking to the police, letting the police in the night of the haunted house. So that was a bit of a miss. I agree on there. And there's another scene, like she's clearly being quite affected by the house. There's a scene where they're all outside talking, and she's just like staring at a Virgin Mary statue creepily. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, and you go, and she explicitly walks away.
But he was like, she's being weird and like looking at a statue. But I'm like, if I was stood in a field and I saw a random statue, I'd probably walk over it and have a little look. I didn't think it was that like left field. Like, if there was nothing else around and there's a statue, you're gonna go over and see what's this statue about.
What's your opinion on possession in these kind of movies? Because obviously Paranormal Activity does it, this does it. Some of the films have that possession thing. I hate the trope. I always feel actors overplay it, and it's all like, we're evil now. It's all kind of like a cliche, and I just hate it. But I just wanted your opinion on it.
I think if it's done subtly, then it is effective. But I agree that they ham it up. Like, taking a scene from Paranormal Activity, that scene of, I can't remember what the main girl's name is in the first one. Is that what her name is? Mia. So when she is just standing at the side of the bed and you see those hours ticking by, that is effective. Right. But when she kind of later on in the movie, she is almost like infantile. She's a bit like babyish in how she's, and obviously it's because it's affecting her. That I don't like.
In this one, like maybe the Sarah stuff hams it up a little bit. Like she's kind of just dead affect, and
especially
whatever.
At the end.
But
I feel like people are really stupid with like, if I was hanging out with you, Nat, and then suddenly you were like, Dave, I think you should go into the bedroom now and see what's in the drawer.
Yeah.
I'll be like, why are you talking like that?
I think
What's wrong with
if
you?
you're trying to
What
build
do
up
you
that these
mean?
people have been friends for like a long time,
away.
yeah, you wouldn't take that off your friends. You'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, sort of thing.
So let's wrap it up then, I guess. Let's go around and say favorite characters. Okay, how about Dave first?
Who did I like? Who was the guy who was just like ignoring everyone's advice about it
Alex.
being haunted? Who just wanted Alex? Well, I liked Alex because he was taking all the evidence and just saying, no, it's fine. It'll be good. And the clown and Alex, I'll give.
I was going to say the clown for my favourite.
Yeah. Why do you like the clown so much now?
I just think he was the most effective part of the movie.
yeah.
If the clown hadn't been in it, I probably wouldn't have scored it as high as I'm going to give it. But the clown, for me, yeah, like tipped it sort of thing.
Did you guys have... Oh, for me, I would say I like Tony the best of the crew of characters just because he's level-headed and he has like the natural, like we've all said, staying in this hotel, especially after things start happening, is a real dumb idea, and he's the only one that brings this up and tries to leave. And then I also, honorable mention is the historian guy that they interviewed.
Yeah, we should have said him.
Prescription pills. How about least favorite character?
I don't know, really. I can't.
I'm going to go for Paul just because he was creepy with the camera. So he made me not like him beforehand.
You know what's funny?
He would go up and interview all these girls and have very weird shots.
Yeah, immediately creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and he busts into the room. So, before I say that, going into this rewatch of it, I remember liking Paul, and it's because I, for some reason, kind of drew a comparison between him and the TJ Miller character in Cloverfield, who was also like this curly-haired, kind of funny guy, jokester as the cameraman. But watching it again,
piano.
watching it again last night, I was like, oh yeah, Paul is like kind of overly creepy. Like he busts in to like one of his best friend and his best friend's girlfriend in their room, and he's just like closing up on her butt in her underwear, and then they're hiring these new people to come be actors in the haunt, and he's like already skeeving on the one girl. Yeah, so I agree, Paul is on rewatch, but effectively I found it added to what they had his character do. Least favorite, I think the documentary film woman was kind of not
she
very
was annoying. I feel like if you had that much evidence, you wouldn't be just so gung-ho about it.
Yeah, I didn't need the documentary film crew angle. Like, I could have believed that somebody found all this footage after the event and put it together without having them interviewing Sarah. And
Agreed.
I thought that took me out of the realism of the found. What for me was the realism of the found footage of this. So I think this is a good time to go around and do our ratings. So Nat, do you want to start?
Yeah, I've kind of gone down the middle on this one. I've given it a 2.5. I originally was going to give it a 2, but I feel like that is too harsh because there was a few moments, like Dave said, I don't know if it's because we were hamming it up, but I know there was a few moments where we were like, ooh, like it had tension. The tension was done well. I don't think they probably pulled it off at the end as slickly as I would have liked, but it definitely had all the makings of what could have been a very good horror.
It's fair.
I'm going to give it a 1.5 because it was trash. No, I just didn't like it. I'm not interested in seeing what happens next. I wasn't a fan.
I think I'd give it a 3.5. Like I said, for me, I enjoy it. I'm able to get into it. I'm able to kind of look past some of the flaws. It's one of those that I found I like to watch around the Halloween. Like, I don't have a desire to watch it elsewhere in the year, but for me, it's like a decent, solid haunted house film to watch during Halloween season.
However, I did enjoy it a lot more than Bone Tomahawk, so just to get it out there.
let's put these episodes in different order, and then people won't know what all that means.
Yeah. What does that mean?
So with that, I think we're going to wrap up this week's Spooky Season Cinema pick of Hell House LLC, and that is a goodbye from me, Danielle, and you guys.
Bye-bye.
Brr.
All right, bye.